Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wantapreneur Wednesday. I'm so sorry. The last couple weeks, I have, as you know, been out of the Wantapreneur Wednesday mode with that little medical emergency that I had. But I'm back on track, and I'm super excited because I have a really special guest today. Today, I want to share with you someone I've known for a long time, like, oh my gosh, Pam, 20 years maybe?
More.
Maybe 20 years or more. Pam Gross and I met over 20 years ago when our husbands worked together in advertising. They were partners, and so they were partners for many years. And Pam and I got to know each other and grow with each other throughout the years, having kids and so on and so forth. And she is one person that has been this entrepreneur that has inspired me like crazy, because every year something shifts and changes in this amazing direction that she's going in. So I want to let her share her story with you right now. So here we go. This is my guest. Welcome, Pam Gross, to the broadcast.
Thank you, Patty.
I'm super excited to have you here and to have you share, oh my gosh, your amazing journey, where it started, where you're at today. So please share with the audience, what's your journey, where you're at.
I should ask you, how are you feeling as a health coach? I should really ask, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling so much better, but you know what, you're right. I got to watch what I'm eating, and I got to be careful with all that. Food is everything, right?
Okay. So, well, thank you so much for having me. I know you've asked me several times, and I'm a behind the scenes kind of person, so this is out of my comfort zone. But I can simply tell you that my journey has been not just like this little contained part of my life. It's really been my whole life that kind of led me here. And we were just talking before this, really, it's about something I tell my health coaching clients is, you really have to connect to your heart and follow your heart, and your heart will be your guide. So if you ever get that sensation like, this doesn't feel right, chances are you're about to go down a path that isn't the right path for you. So anytime I felt like, I can't wait to do this. This is such a great idea. I knew that was something that I had to do. So when you say that every year something changes, it's really because of being connected to that's like to my spirit, and having my spirit guide me down the next path, whatever that's going to be. But really briefly, I started out my career in journalism. I moved into advertising. I actually worked with my dad. He had an advertising agency for about 7 years, and the plan was for me to take it over. So I got exposed to all aspects of the business. He really gave me like sort of my MBA, I should say. And I had my first son, Kyle, who just went off to college on Sunday, and I had called my dad and said I really wanted to work part-time. I wasn't ready to go back. And he said, don't worry, I got it all figured out. So I went back to work the first day. I'm like, okay, what's the plan? He said, I sold the company. I'm like, oh my God, that's not what I wanted. So then it was actually a blessing in disguise, because it sent me down a path of me trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. And I wrote a column for Today's Chicago Woman for a long time. I was the manager of that paper when I first moved back to Chicago from New York. And so I wrote a column on being a mom, and I had my second son, and it was a kind of a funny column. And then I had my second son. I'm like, this isn't funny anymore. I can't write this column. So I took a little bit of a break, and then somehow found my way into fundraising. And I worked for Share Our Strength, and I actually relaunched Their Taste of the Nation, which was a benefit working to end childhood hunger in our city. And so I relaunched that with like 30 chefs and 30 mixologists. And that was really I was writing actually food columns, food reviews for Today's Chicago Woman. And then I had this little culinary experience for like 4 years working with chefs. So that was like another aspect of food for me. And then I worked for another foundation, Young Women's Leadership Charter School, and I did their event planning. And then through all of it, I had migraines. I've had migraines since I was a baby. And so when I was 3 years old, I could finally tell my parents, like, my head hurts. And they wished me off to the hospital. And it turns out there was nothing wrong with my brain except that I had migraines. And so I've had migraines my entire life. And it's really been a battle of, medication and just lifestyle. And when I was really, before this whole alternative, Eastern medicine became more mainstream, I was really just at the mercy of what the doctors could give me. So it was like a lot of, heavy duty drugs like Urosets and Tylenol threes that just, you can't function when you take those things. And so I just knew that this was not the way for me. And there must be a better way. And I knew that I knew my body so well, actually, from yoga. Yoga is the thing that made me really get in touch with my body. So, you do yoga too. When you do yoga one day and you do yoga the next day, you're very acutely aware something's different. And so yoga really helped me, take control of my own wellness. So I decided to become a health coach so that I could get all the information and I could kind of plot out my own wellness journey. And so that was really the intention. But of course, everything kind of melded together. And after that last job I had with Young Women's Leadership Charter School, I decided to be a health coach full time. And so I started a program called Feel Real. And it actually stands for enjoying an authentic life. Feel, so Feel is F-E-A-L. And really, it was this whole process of me learning not just about what foods I should be eating, but literally what spiritual foods are going to be feeding me, so that I could live the best life possible. And it was a matter of weeding out, like I said, things that I knew were not going to serve me. If I got a pang in my chest that said, this isn't, for me, then I would say no. And it could have been anything from somebody asking me to go out at night. And if I just felt like, oh, that sounds too much for me, I would say no. And if somebody said, do you want to go out with me the next night? And I really wanted to, I'd go, so something as simple as that. And then I kind of use that for foods as well. So when you're acutely aware of your body and how things make you feel, when you're about to pick up something and you're going to eat this, you're not going to feel good. Like, I just realized that avocados don't make me feel good. Every time I eat an avocado, I'm like, oh, I know it's good for me, but there's something about it I don't want to eat. There's something my body's saying, please don't eat that avocado. So I'm listening to that. Same thing with nuts. I used to eat nuts all the time for snacks, and they don't make me feel good. And they don't make a lot of people feel good because we tend to eat them in large quantities and then we don't chew our food. So long story short, I started this Feel Real journey, and on my website, I had a page of recipes for my clients to go to. And I would take them.
Delicious recipes, I might add.
So I would take them through a 30-day journey, and every week they'd have to make these certain foods. They could pick from the list, and they'd have to stock their fridge at the beginning of the week. And after 30 days, everybody said, I get it. I feel so much better, but I can't do the work. Can you please just cook for me? And I was like, well, maybe I can. And so my husband—
I just want to stop you right here and just tell the audience that, like, Pam and her husband are phenomenal cooks. Like, they've always, for as long as I've known them, more than 20 years, they're foodies. They love food. They love going to different restaurants. We used to always go out to different places with them. And anytime we'd go to their house, they would plan these meals, but they loved doing it. They loved being in the kitchen. Okay, I just had to say that.
Well, I can clarify that a little bit.
Okay.
Mark loved cooking. Really good at it. My husband is an amazing chef. He's a creative, so everything he does comes from a creative aspect. And he would do these amazing dinner parties and plate everything, and it was fun. It was a lot of work. But actually, I realized that if I wanted to eat the way that I wanted to eat, I needed to learn how to cook. So I decided to cook one meal. I decided to cook dinner for an entire school year, no matter what, even if it was eggs. And I decided I'm just going to make mistakes. I'm going to figure it out. And that's really how I got all my recipes for the Bread and Buddha. So my husband and I started the Bread and Buddha food blog. And so 90% of the recipes are on the plan. 10% of the recipes are Mark's. They're off the plan. So it's like pasta and burgers and potatoes, things like that. Mark likes to cook. So we came up with this together. Really, it's the Bread and Buddha. It's like the essentials of good eating, of everything you need to make you feel good. People always say to me, "Where's the bread?" And I'm like, that's the entree into explaining why we don't really include bread in our plan. So I had this website, the Bread and Buddha, that morphed from the Feel Real website. And people would say to me, can you please just cook for me? So then I knew that there was something there. And my concept was to help people fill their fridge at the beginning of the week so that they would be prepared, and so that's really what I told my clients to do. I was like, make your lean proteins, have a big salad, make it like a quinoa bowl, have a couple of sauces. I think the key is always in the sauces. The easiest way to eat well, so you don't have to make a new recipe every night. If you have a lean protein and a couple different sauces in your fridge, you can really have a different meal every night. It's the way I think everybody should eat, and that's how the Bread and Buddha kitchen is set up. So after, going through a couple chefs, I finally found the chef that I'm with now on a sort of a funny way. A friend of mine, I was doing websites actually. I done all my own websites, and people then said, who did your website? And I said, I did. And I kind of like doing it at night. I always joke with people, it's like my knitting. It's what I do at night when I'm like sitting on the couch. It's just a creative outlet for me. So somebody said, I know somebody who needs a website. And I said, oh, what does he do? And they said he opened up this kitchen in Highland Park. He's a catering chef and a personal chef, and he cooks all organic. Sorry, my dog's about to bust in the room. He cooks all organic, and so we met and we decided it was a great fit. And it was just a crazy time because my husband quit his job and started his own agency called High Dive. I started my company. My kid was going to be, was getting ready to go to college, my oldest son, and I had packaging all over the house. And they were like, what are you guys doing? We're like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And so not only did I start my company at the same time Mark started his company, but same thing with my chef. He just opened up his kitchen. So that first year was insane. Just crazy.
So explain what the Bread and the Buddha kitchen is, because for a lot of the audience, they don't know what exactly it is.
So really, I like to think of it as like an organic food boutique. So there's tons of these, Blue Aprons and whatever else are out there, all the Freshlies. And while I have visions of maybe one day growing the company, right now I feel like this is what I do. And reason why I want to keep it this way is because I love the personal connection with my clients. So the website offers, we actually merged our menus. We used to have a special menu every week and a classic menu every week. And we merged them so you actually have more options. But I designed the menus to have like the right amount of mix of leafy greens. You need vegetables. You need anywhere from 12 to 15 servings of vegetables a day just to get the nutrients that we are lacking. It has all healthy fats. Everything's cooked with olive oil, coconut oil. We have healthy carbs, and it's actually a low carb plan. Usually quinoa or brown rice, and so what you get are three main dishes, 3 sides, a giant salad, and some side sauces to mix and match, and it makes about 10 meals. So unlike these other food companies where you get an individual meal, think of them as meals deconstructed. Your fridge is stocked, and you can make a variety of different meals, and I give you instructions when you order.
So what is the biggest incentive for someone who would want to use that kind of a service versus just, going to the grocery store and buying their groceries and coming home and cooking?
Well, we save you about 8 hours a week.
Yes.
The entire day.
Totally.
And actually, so the product costs $150, and it comes out to be about $15 a meal. So some people, when they see the price tag, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, but how many meals is that?
It's 10 plus.
Right?
So it could be 15 or less, depending on how many meals you can get out of it. But you save about 8 hours a day. You don't have to think about healthy eating. I've done the work for you. The menu is planned with the right mix of everything that you need. You're getting all the nutrients that you possibly could need. You're getting the healthy fats and proteins, tons of fiber. So for people who want to eat well, but don't have the time to think about it, every time you've ever done some sort of plan, you got to figure out what I'm supposed to eat. You got to, make your shopping list, and you're worried about what, is this on the plan? Is this not on the plan? This is just an easy way for people to eat well without having to literally think about it. And one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this is because people are really busy. I think health coaching has taught me that every single person on this planet has a lot of stuff going on, even when you think you don't. So what people would say to me, well, this is a perfect 30 days. I have nothing going on. Inevitably, that 30 days turned into the craziest 30 days I've ever had. It just, we never know what life is going to bring us. It is a wild, wild ride. And the life that we live is so jam-packed. And I really believe from my heart that this is a service that people can benefit from, not only for finding more time for themselves and doing the things that they love. I always say, we feed your belly so you can feed your spirit. Like literally get out of the grocery store and get out of your kitchen and go do all those things that you want to do in your life, and don't worry about the foodstuffs. We got the foodstuffs taken care of for you.
Well, the really cool thing about that is like, how much energy do you devote to like having to think about, oh my God, what do I got to cook tonight? Oh my God, do I have the ingredients in my refrigerator? For me, sometimes it's like 5 o'clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, dinner. Like, right? I mean, I don't have Bill around, so I'm like, at the last minute all the time, But I have to tell you guys, I ordered it phenomenal. Like, what I loved about it is that I had it in my fridge for 3 days and everything tasted just as fresh on day 3 as it did on day 1. I mean, and what you were talking about, sauces are everything. Oh my God. Her sauces are amazing. They were delicious. The pesto one, I am still craving it. So I know you deliver. So why don't you share where you deliver to and how else people can order it?
Well, that's funny. Like distribution has been probably like my weak link. Right now, I'm delivering myself, which I actually really love because I get to meet my clients. And like I said, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to grow, because if somebody texts me, they're texting me. I end up sending kiss emojis to people and they're sending me pictures of their kids. And these are people I don't even know. And I love it. I love that it's really made an impact on their life and they feel comfortable enough to reach out to me. I also want to mention that I have another product called the 3-Day Reset, which has been really awesome. And that comes with smoothies for breakfast for 3 days, and then lunch and dinner and a detox soup, and health coaching for an entire week. So
wow, that's cool.
Amazing results from it. And actually, that's what I've transitioned my health coaching to be now versus seeing clients one-on-one. But that's a really great product and people are feeling amazing. And I really, the goal was to teach people how to eat well and eat well for, the rest of their life. So we deliver from Lake Forest to Evanston to Glenview. So it's really the North Shore area, but I am working with FedEx right now to expand that, and they would do same day delivery. So everything though, when you run a business, there's obstacles that you bump into. So something as simple as like, I want to get to the city, I want to deliver to the city has become literally a challenge for the last year. Just getting fresh food, like you said, it's fresh. It's literally cooked within hours of being delivered. Getting fresh food to people is hard. Making sure that it's at the right temperature. So like you mentioned that it was fresh, and so that is one of the benefits. I think it's not only fresh, it's organic, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, and we don't use any refined sugars. You can make vegan options out of it, but it is super fresh. So I've ordered food from these companies where, they ship you a prepared meal. They're on a plane, for 24 hours, and you don't know when they were made prior to that. So for me, freshness has always been a really big deal. Even if you were to go to Whole Foods and go to that counter and get chicken breast, it wasn't necessarily made that morning. And actually Whole Foods doesn't really have a big giant kitchen in the back. You all think they do. They're getting their foods brought in too. So, this food I can guarantee you is cooked fresh. I'm in the kitchen, literally in the kitchen this week helping.
So hi Annette. Annette says, do you provide nutritional information of the meals?
That's a great question. Hi Annette, I don't provide nutritional information. And the reason being is that this is really something I take my health coaching clients through, is that there's no calorie nutrition label on broccoli. You just don't need to, if you're eating whole foods, you don't need to be counting calories. And that has been, I think, one of the biggest things that I help my clients shift away from, is this portion control, calorie counting, to just eating whole foods and giving your body exactly what it wants. When you the reset is great because that's what it does. It literally gives your body exactly what it needs to function properly. And when it does have those ingredients, it all systems go. Like everything starts working again. People are shocked at like, oh my God, all I did was change my diet and I feel this good. So I like to remind people that we are literally hunter and gatherers, and we are of the earth. We are a human species, and everything that we need is out there. And so if you can just fill up on those things that nature gave us, which is really amazing when you think of how plentiful. Like, I love to walk into Whole Foods first thing in the morning and be the first person there and look at their produce section. Is pretty amazing to be like, oh my God, all of this stuff is here for us. So, the earth provided so much good food for us if you just follow that plan. There's no need to count calories or measure. I always tell people if you're really into measuring, it's a handful. I mean, really, you think of a hunter and gatherer, they were lucky to get a handful of anything. So really that is
That's such a great tip right there. Love that.
philosophy that I use. And so it's hard. It's a shift for people. When they work with me, we end up not counting calories and not measuring and eating fats and eating whole eggs. And it's a little bit jarring for people who've been eating egg whites and sauce on the side and counting calories. It's a different way. It's actually the natural way of living and being healthy. It's how our bodies were meant to survive.
Yeah, and it also goes along with your whole philosophy and what you practice. Okay, so let's shift from this business, right? Which it's just been so fun to watch. And I want to ask you on the business side, like if you were talking to a woman who was thinking about starting a business, what advice would you give her about taking that leap into the entrepreneurial world?
I would tell her to be ready to work all the time. And it's really, it has to be your passion. There are mornings that I get up and go in my pajamas and go down to my computer, and next thing I know, it's noon. And it's because I'm just entrenched in what I'm doing, and the time flies because I'm really enjoying all aspects of it.
Mhm.
You just have to be ready to work hard, super hard, harder than you could ever think you would ever have to work. And you really have to be open to getting your hands dirty. There's nothing that isn't your responsibility. So even the yuckiest job is still your job. At the end of
Yeah,
the day, it's your business. I think
good points.
getting what's that?
Very good points.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
let me ask you, what do you think has been the best mistake you've ever made on this entrepreneurial route?
I know you asked me, I love that question. I can't pick the best one because they are all amazing. And so, whereas I used to beat myself up for not getting something right, now I see them as blessings. Mistakes are blessings. It's the only way, especially as an entrepreneur and not having a partner to kind of bounce things off. If a client says something to me and I realize, oh, that I didn't communicate that well. If they had a question, then I know, oh my God, I got to go on my website and fix that so that everybody knows now. So every time I make a mistake, it is a blessing because it shows me that there's like something off, about what I'm doing that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
So
you just brought up a good point. Support. So you are a solopreneur. So what do you do to surround yourself with support? How do you
well,
keep yourself in that positive of mind?
I have an angel that dropped into my lap. She's a yoga friend of mine who early on just said, can I work with you in the kitchen? And I was like, sure. So literally she's been such a huge help for me. Her name's Mia Cutler. Thank you, Mia. And, you know, it is hard because I don't really have somebody to bounce ideas off of on a daily basis. My husband gets bombarded with some questions, not every now and then. And my dad, I'll ask my dad questions. I'll talk to anybody who asks me a question about my business. They're probably sorry that they did because I'm kind of rambling. But I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to be a solopreneur is because I wanted that autonomy. I didn't want to have to ask somebody, is this okay if I do this? If I'm up in the middle of the night and I want to make a change to my website, I do it. So I don't think I would trade that right now, for having that partner.
Yeah.
which is also when I have been resistant to getting bigger too, is because you need money. And so I really am not looking for investors. I don't want somebody in there poking around telling me what I should and shouldn't do. So I'm happy with, you know, growing slowly.
Organically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell the audience where they can find you both online and offline.
Right.
And also, I want to share that, you know, and I know you're still doing your retreats and some things with your Feel Real part of the business. And her retreats are amazing. She does a lot of work at
Aloha Farm.
Aloha Farms, which is in Lake Forest. And I'm telling you, I've been to a couple of them. You walk away feeling very renewed and refreshed. So the next time she offers one, which I think is coming up soon, like go, get your ticket, because it's really it's just a beautiful day for yourself. So yeah.
So you can find me at the Bread and Buddha Kitchen.com, and it's Buddha, Buddha. So the Bread and Buddha Kitchen. That's the food business. You can find my food blog and recipes at thebreadandbuddha.com, no kitchen. And then you can find my health coaching at pamgross.com. But if you were to go to the Bread and Buddha Kitchen and click events, you'll find all the retreats. And my next one coming up is actually at the Botanic Gardens on September, is it September 16th? That Friday, whatever that Friday is. That's a 4-hour retreat of yoga, meditation. We get to go into the fruit and veggie island. We'll be demoing some sauces and salsas. People will be able to make some and take them home. And then Aloha Farm is in October 19th, I believe. And that is, you know, just a day to connect. It's called Root to Rise. It's a day to connect to the earth and to self, to come back to, you know, to the things that are most important to you, and set your intention for the season. So everybody
love it. I cannot speak more highly about those retreats. They're amazing. And I can't speak more highly about the Bread and the Buddha business and what she's offering, because the food is delicious. It takes so much work out of it, so much think out of it. It gives you freedom, time freedom to like do the things you really want to do without having to worry about like going home and cooking. And it's just been a really, I don't know, I think it's a really amazing offering that you have. So Pam, thank you so much for taking time to come on to Wantapreneur Wednesday. I just wanted to get you on here and let you share your story, because you have been so inspiring to me as I've watched you grow and keep trying all these things, and you keep going. You don't like, you know, fall off the horse and like throw, you know, walk away. You just keep get back on. And it's been really fun and inspiring to watch. So thank you. And thank you everyone for dropping in today for Wantapreneur Wednesday. Meet me back here next week for the next entrepreneurial journey. Have an amazing week.